Fans are shocked as Kirk Frost is allegedly left broke, blindsided, and humiliated after Rasheeda reportedly secures a jaw-dropping $300 million spousal support deal. Emotions ran high, accusations exploded, and what happened behind closed doors left the family divided and the internet on fire. The shockwave hit the internet just after midnight, blogs refreshed, phones buzzed non-stop. Fans were shocked as whispers turned into screaming headlines claiming Kirk had walked out of court with his head down, pockets allegedly empty, while Rasheeda stood tall, silent, and victorious. No smiles, no tears, just icy resolve. Inside the courthouse hallway, tension was so thick you could cut it with a knife. Witnesses swore Kirk's hands were shaking as he leaned against the wall, mumbling, "This can't be real, this can't be happening." Meanwhile, Rasheeda reportedly kept her sunglasses on, face unreadable, flanked by lawyers who looked like they had just won the Super Bowl. Behind the scenes, sources claimed the ruling didn't just hit Kirk's wallet, it shattered his pride. Hours earlier, the atmosphere had been explosive. "You think money fixes what you did?" Rasheeda allegedly snapped during a closed-door exchange, her voice echoing through the chamber. Kirk fired back, desperate and defensive. "I built this with you. You're really about to leave me with nothing?" Emotions ran high as years of resentment spilled out in minutes. Accusations flew: betrayal, manipulation, secret accounts, hidden assets. At one point, a source claimed the judge had to pause proceedings when voices rose and tempers flared. Outside, family members were already divided. Some whispered that Rasheeda had been planning her exit for years, quietly stacking evidence, receipts, and legal firepower. Others insisted Kirk was being set up, painted as the villain in a story far bigger than him. And then came the number. When the alleged $300 million figure hit social media, fans lost their minds. "No way, this has to be fake. He's finished. She played chess while he played checkers." Friends close to the couple reportedly started choosing sides immediately. Phones went unanswered, group chats went silent, longtime allies suddenly had meetings and couldn't talk. By sunrise, the narrative was clear. This wasn't just a breakup, it was a downfall. And according to insiders, this was only the beginning. The fallout spread faster than anyone expected. By the next morning, insiders claimed Kirk had locked himself inside a luxury condo that suddenly felt far too big and far too quiet. The champagne flutes were still on the counter from a party thrown weeks earlier, back when he believed everything was under control. Now, the silence mocked him. Every notification on his phone felt like another punch to the chest. Meanwhile, Rasheeda was reportedly somewhere completely different, emotionally and physically. Sources whispered that she had retreated to a private estate with close friends, cutting off all contact except through her legal team. No interviews, no statements, just calculated silence, and that silence, it spoke louder than any argument ever could. Fans were shocked by how quickly the narrative flipped. Just days before, Kirk had been seen smiling at public appearances, brushing off rumors like they were nothing more than internet noise. "People talk," he allegedly told a friend. "They don't know what's really going on." But now, those same friends were saying his confidence evaporated the moment the court decision was read aloud. One source claimed Kirk paced the room, shouting, "I didn't think she'd actually do it." After everything, his voice reportedly cracked, not from anger but from disbelief. Across town, Rasheeda's inner circle painted a very different picture. She was calm, a close associate allegedly said, "Not happy, not sad, just done." That word, done, kept coming up. Years of alleged betrayals, broken promises, and public humiliation had finally boiled over. According to those close to her, Rasheeda didn't see the ruling as revenge. She saw it as justice long overdue. But justice for one meant devastation for the other. As news spread, family members reportedly began turning on each other. Kirk's relatives were said to be furious, claiming he was being financially erased. One family member allegedly snapped during a heated phone call, "She's taking everything. How is he supposed to start over?" On the other side, Rasheeda's supporters weren't backing down. "She carried him," one cousin allegedly fired back. "Emotionally, financially, publicly." This didn't come out of nowhere. Emotions ran high as old wounds reopened. Then came the first major twist. Late that night, whispers emerged of a mysterious document, something Kirk's team allegedly never saw coming. Rumors swirled that Rasheeda's lawyers had presented evidence of offshore accounts, hidden investments, and years of financial maneuvering that painted a completely different picture of the marriage. Fans went wild. "So he was hiding money? She knew the whole time? This is next level." Kirk, according to insiders, was blindsided. He kept saying, "That's not what it looks like," a source claimed. But every explanation just dug the hole deeper. The tension reportedly reached a breaking point when the two crossed paths briefly after the ruling. No cameras, no microphones, just raw emotion. "You planned this," Kirk allegedly accused, his voice low but shaking. Rasheeda didn't yell, she didn't cry. "I survived this," she reportedly replied. "There's a difference." That moment, sources say, shattered whatever illusion of reconciliation remained. As the days passed, the internet turned the situation into a spectacle. Reaction videos flooded YouTube, comment sections exploded, fans dissected old clips, interviews and lyrics, claiming they saw the signs all along. Every past argument was suddenly proof. Every smile was fake. Every apology was calculated. The family was left divided, with some begging for privacy while others hinted at more secrets yet to come. Then, just when things seemed like they couldn't get worse for Kirk, another bomb dropped. Allegedly, a longtime business partner stepped forward, distancing himself completely. Contracts were quietly paused, deals were under review, invitations stopped coming. According to insiders, the industry smell of scandal is worse than failure, and Kirk was drenched in it. He went from being protected to being avoided, one source said. Nobody wants to pick a side publicly, but behind closed doors they already have. Rasheeda, on the other hand, was rumored to be stepping into a new chapter. Talks of brand expansions, international deals, and solo ventures began circulating. Fans praised her composure, calling her unbothered, strategic, and 10 steps ahead. Still, not everyone was cheering. Some fans questioned the size of the alleged settlement, others wondered what this would mean for their children. Would money heal the damage, or deepen it? Late one evening, Kirk reportedly broke his silence to a close friend. "I lost more than money," he allegedly admitted. "I lost my family." That confession, if true, revealed the real cost of the battle. As the dust settled, one thing became painfully clear: this wasn't just about spousal support. It was about power, pride, and the price of ignoring cracks until the entire foundation collapses. And according to insiders, there were still chapters of this story the public hadn't seen yet. Because when emotions run this deep, silence never lasts forever. The tension didn't cool, it mutated. Behind closed doors, whispers claimed Kirk's legal team was scrambling, frantically combing through paperwork, emails, and old agreements, hoping to find some overlooked technicality. Something, anything, that could soften the blow. But every hour that passed only seemed to confirm the worst. This wasn't a misunderstanding. This was a reckoning. Sources alleged Kirk began lashing out at everyone around him. "This is all blown out of proportion," he reportedly shouted during a late-night call. "They're turning me into a monster." But even as he spoke, the walls were closing in. Friends who once hyped him up stopped answering texts. Business contacts suddenly needed time. Even casual acquaintances kept their distance, afraid of being pulled into the mess. One insider put it bluntly: when the narrative flips, nobody wants to be the last one defending you. Meanwhile, Rasheeda's silence became a strategy. Fans were shocked by how little she said publicly. No emotional Instagram live, no subtweets, no cryptic captions, just business as usual: workouts, meetings, quiet dinners with friends. That calm drove people crazy. "She's cold," critics claimed. "She's focused," supporters fired back. Behind the scenes, though, emotions were anything but calm. According to someone close to the family, the hardest conversations weren't about money, they were about loyalty. Children reportedly asked questions no parent wants to answer. Relatives argued over who should speak and who should stay quiet. The family was left divided, not just between Kirk and Rasheeda, but within itself. One explosive argument allegedly erupted during a private family gathering. "You embarrassed her for years," someone snapped at Kirk. "And now you're letting strangers rewrite our whole life," he fired back. Voices rose, old grudges resurfaced, and once again, nothing was resolved. Then came another twist no one saw coming. Rumors spread that footage, never aired, never leaked, existed from years earlier, capturing a moment when Rasheeda allegedly warned Kirk this exact outcome could happen. Fans went wild imagining the scene. "If this ever ends," she was rumored to have said, "it won't end quietly." Whether real or exaggerated, the idea stuck. It reframed everything. Suddenly, this wasn't a sudden explosion, it was a slow burn finally reaching its end. Online, the debate turned vicious. Some fans accused Rasheeda of being ruthless. Others accused Kirk of underestimating her intelligence. Neutral viewers asked one haunting question: how did love turn into litigation? As pressure mounted, Kirk allegedly considered breaking his silence publicly. Draft statements were written, deleted, rewritten again. Friends warned him, Anything you say can and will be torn apart. He hesitated, and that hesitation cost him control of the narrative. Because before he could speak, another story broke. This time, it involved the former friend who claimed Kirk had ignored every warning sign. He thought he was untouchable, the source allegedly said. He thought apologies were enough. That quote spread like wildfire. Emotions ran high as fans re-examined every apology Kirk had ever made. Were they genuine, or damage control? At the same time, Rasheeda's camp allegedly pushed back against claims of greed. This isn't about money, one insider said. It's about accountability. That word, accountability, became the dividing line. Late one night, Kirk reportedly sat alone, scrolling through comments he shouldn't have read. Some called him a cautionary tale, others mocked his downfall, a few defended him, but their voices were drowned out by the noise. "That's how it ends," he allegedly muttered. Like this? Across the city, Rasheeda was said to be having a very different moment, quiet, reflective, not celebratory. According to someone close, she stared out a window and finally allowed herself to feel the weight of it all. "It didn't have to be this way," she reportedly said softly. But it was, and with every passing day, it became clearer that this story wasn't headed toward reconciliation, it was heading toward legacy. How it would be remembered, who would be believed, and what lessons would be pulled from the wreckage. Because when the cameras fade and the headlines slow down, all that's left is truth, or at least, the version people choose to live with. And insiders insist the final chapter still hasn't been written. What nobody expected was how fast the tone shifted from spectacle to survival. According to insiders, Kirk hit a breaking point when financial reality allegedly set in. Bills, obligations, commitments he once brushed off without thinking suddenly demanded attention. The lifestyle he'd grown used to, luxury cars, private trips, flashy nights out, was reportedly no longer guaranteed. And that realization, it cut deeper than any headline. He kept saying, "This isn't how it was supposed to end," a source claimed. Like the ending shocked him more than the fallout. At the same time, whispers emerged that Rasheeda was quietly reclaiming parts of herself she'd shelved for years. Not just professionally, but emotionally. Friends said she laughed more, slept better, spoke with clarity instead of caution. "She's lighter," one friend allegedly said, "not because she won, because she's finally not carrying everything alone." That contrast only fueled the fire. Fans were shocked by how sharply opinions hardened, comment sections turned into battlegrounds, live streams devolved into shouting matches. Even casual viewers felt personally invested, as if they'd been dragged into the marriage themselves. Team Rasheeda, Team Kirk, everybody loses. No one could agree, except on one thing. This story was bigger than entertainment now. Then came another dramatic turn. Rumors began circulating that Kirk had reached out privately, one last attempt at peace. According to alleged messages leaked by someone close to the situation, he wasn't asking for money. He wasn't asking for favors. He was asking for forgiveness. "I know I messed up," he reportedly wrote. "I just don't want us to end hating each other." The response? Silence. Not cruelty, not rejection, just silence. And somehow, that silence hurt more. Those close to Rasheeda claimed she struggled with the decision. Forgiveness didn't come easily, but neither did resentment anymore. What remained was distance, necessary distance. She forgave him for herself, an insider said, but forgiveness doesn't mean access. That distinction hit fans hard. As weeks passed, the media cycle slowed, but the emotional aftermath didn't. Kirk was reportedly forced to downsize, both financially and socially. Invitations stopped, opportunities dried up. The phone that once rang non-stop now stayed quiet for days. He kept asking, "Where did everybody go?" A source claimed, across the aisle, Rasheeda's name was trending for different reasons. Business announcements, brand rumors, appearances that screamed confidence without saying a word. Fans praised her glow, calling it post-chaos clarity. Still, unresolved questions lingered. Would Kirk rebuild or retreat? Would Rasheeda ever tell her full side? Was the story the public believed even close to the truth? The family remained divided, fractured by loyalty and perspective. Some urged reconciliation, others insisted boundaries were the only path forward. Children, relatives, and longtime friends were caught in the middle, carrying emotional weight no settlement could erase. Late one night, Kirk allegedly summed it up in a moment of raw honesty. "Money didn't ruin us," he reportedly said. "Silence did, ego did, and maybe that was the real lesson hiding beneath the drama. Because when love turns into leverage and apologies arrive too late, even millions can't buy back what's lost." And as fans continue to debate, dissect, and defend their sides, one truth remains unresolved: some endings don't come with closure. They come with consequences. In this story, it's still echoing. As the echoes lingered, a new phase quietly unfolded, one far more dangerous than shouting matches or viral headlines. According to insiders, the silence around Kirk wasn't empty anymore. It was heavy, strategic. He reportedly stopped reacting and started watching. Every post, every comment, every move Rasheeda made, or didn't make. Friends said he became withdrawn, suspicious, convinced that something else was coming. And then, almost on cue, it did. A rumor surfaced that shook even his remaining supporters, an alleged second filing. Not for money, but for control. Sources whispered that Rasheeda's legal team was preparing additional motions tied to branding rights, intellectual property, and long-standing business entities once operated jointly. Fans were shocked all over again. Wait, she's not done? This is chess, not checkers. He never saw this coming. Behind the scenes, panic reportedly set in. Kirk was said to have slammed his laptop shut during a tense meeting, yelling, "They're trying to erase me." His frustration wasn't just about finances anymore, it was about legacy. The fear that his name, his contributions, his identity were being quietly rewritten without him in the room. But Rasheeda's camp allegedly told a different story. This isn't erasure, one source claimed. It's separation. That word struck a nerve. Separation meant disentangling years of shared decisions, blurred boundaries, and compromises made in the name of marriage. It meant defining what belonged to whom, emotionally, legally, historically. And it meant reopening wounds everyone thought were already exposed. Friends reportedly begged both sides to pause, warning that the damage was spiraling beyond repair. "This is bigger than you two now," one mutual associate allegedly said. This is family, but the family was already left divided. Some accused Rasheeda of pushing too far, others argued she was finally protecting herself fully. Kirk's supporters questioned whether humility could have changed the outcome. Rasheeda's supporters asked why humility was always expected from her and never demanded of him. The debate turned philosophical. Late one evening, Kirk reportedly broke down, not publicly but privately. A close friend claimed he admitted something he'd never said out loud before. "I thought time would fix it," he allegedly confessed. "I thought if I waited long enough, she'd forgive me." That admission reframed everything, because waiting isn't the same as changing. And according to those closest to Rasheeda, she wasn't waiting anymore. She was moving, not angrily, not loudly, but deliberately. As the months stretched on, the drama didn't explode, it simmered. The kind of simmer that builds pressure quietly until something finally gives. Fans watched closely, sensing another reveal, another statement, another shift. But instead, they got something else. Distance. And sometimes, distance tells the loudest story of all. Because when two people stop fighting, stop explaining, stop defending, that's when the ending becomes real. And whether this saga ends in peace, reinvention, or permanent separation, one thing is undeniable: the fallout changed everyone involved. Not just on paper, but at the core. And fans, they're still watching. And now the question is yours to answer. Do you think this fallout was inevitable, or could things have ended differently if choices were made sooner? Fans are still divided, emotions are still raw, and the truth may never fully come out. If you want to stay locked in as this drama continues to unfold, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss a single update. Drop a comment below and tell us whose side you're on, and what you think happens next.